Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Jag here, and today we're actually going to cover grade 10 math, and we're going to go through the method of substitution. Now this method is basically going to be in the first unit. That's what most teachers are covering, and the second most common method is the method of elimination. So today we're going to look at substitution, so let's dive right in here. I wrote an example on the board. Okay, so you're going to have two separate equations. So we're just going to number it. Okay, each of these equations represents a separate line. Okay, so my first line is y equals 3x minus 4. All right, and the second line is the x plus y equals to 8. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to make a line here. I'm going to sub equation 1 into equation 2. Okay, and again, the reason I'm doing this is if I look at equation 1, I see that the y is already isolated by itself. Okay, it's y equals 3x minus 4. Okay, so it's going to be easier if I substitute equation 1 into equation 2. Okay, so we're going to rewrite equation 2 here, which is x plus y equals 8. All right, and instead of writing the y, in this case over here, I'll underline it. We're going to write 3x minus 4. Okay, so we'll put x plus 3x minus 4. Okay, and I'm basically writing it in the brackets here. All right, so we can see when we're putting the like terms together. Okay, so let's write it on the top over here. All right, so again, because I'm just adding them together, I don't actually need to put the brackets. This was just to show you where I'm substituting the y. Okay, so if you look at the bottom here, I have x plus 3x, 4x minus 4 equals 8. All right, so I can see that this is a simple equation now. Okay, and again, equations was covered last year in grade 9. And if you're having some trouble, make sure you're just doing some practice questions to reinforce the concept. All right, so my equation is 4x minus 4 equals 8. All right, I'm going to just underline the negative 4 here. Again, we're underlining the sign that is in front of the number. I'm going to take the negative 4 to the other side of the equal sign. Okay, again, make sure you're changing the sign here. Okay, so I'm going to be left with 4x equals 8 plus 4. Okay, you could see that I'm writing out all of the steps here. Okay, but again, if you're really good with equations, you don't need to write all the steps. Okay, so we're left with 4x equals 12. Okay, so I'm just doing 8 plus 4 on that side. Okay, and at the end, I'm going to divide it by 4 on both sides. And you're always dividing it by the number that you see in front of the variable. So in front of the x here is 4. Okay, I have to make sure I divide by 4 on both sides so I don't change the overall equation. All right, and we're left with x equals 3. All right, just because there's a lot of steps here, okay, I always like to box my final answer. Okay, however, we are not done yet. This is only the value of x. What I have to do now is take the value of x and I have to sub it back into one of the original equations. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to pick equation 2 here. Oh, actually, you can actually pick equation 1. And the reason is the y is actually already isolated. So that might be easier. Okay, so we'll put sub into equation 1. Okay, and you should actually rewrite the equation. So I'm going to rewrite it right here. It's 3x minus 4. All right, and the answer we got for x is 3. So I'm going to plug that into this equation. So we're doing 3 times 3 minus 4. Okay, just like that. So 3 times 3 is 9. We're doing 9 minus 4, which is equal to 5. Okay, this is the value for y. So maybe put the y back in there. Okay, and what this represents is, let's just box this. Okay, how we're gonna write this is basically the POI. Okay, and the POI basically means the point of intersection. It has to be a point which has an x coordinate and a y coordinate. Okay, So the x coordinate here is going to be 3, all right? And the y coordinate is equal to 5. So this is actually your final answer, okay? It's actually 3 and 5. And what this point of intersection represents is basically where these two lines are going to intersect each other, okay? And at 3 and 5 is where the two lines will be intersecting if you actually graph out your answer, all right? Are there any questions? Okay, yeah, so that looks good, all right? So with that, let's try maybe one more example, okay? In this case, we saw that the y was isolated. In the next example, we're going to see that the x value is isolated. Okay, so I'm going to take this off. And again, it doesn't actually matter, okay, which variable is isolated. Okay, it's just easier to do the substitution method when the variable is isolated. Okay, I can easily just plug it into the second equation and I can solve for the value of x or y. All right. With that, let's try this example. Okay, so x equals negative 4y plus 5. Okay, and the second equation is x plus 2y, and that's going to equal to 7. Okay, this is how it's given in the textbook. I always like to put the numbers 1 and 2, okay, to actually just label the different equations. And that way the teacher can see, okay, your steps very clearly and no marks will be taken off, okay? Even if you get the wrong answer, okay? Teachers are always giving part marks and I want to make sure I'm showing all my steps, okay? So I can see in the first equation, the x is isolated here, okay? It says x equals negative 4y plus y, or 5. So I'm going to sub equation 1 into equation 2, okay? And again, if I wanted, I can sub equation 2 into equation 1. The reason I'm not doing that is I'll end up with a lot of fractions, okay? And we're not supposed to be using any decimals, okay? So leave your answers as fractions, okay? And it's just easier if I'm subbing equation 1 into equation 2 here. So I'm going to rewrite equation 2. So it's x plus 2y equals 7, okay? Just like that. And this time, instead of writing the x here, let's put brackets, okay? I'm going to put negative 4y plus 5. Negative 4y plus 5, okay? That's what we're subbing in for the x. And I'm going to keep everything else in the equation the same. So plus 2y equals to 7, all right? And now I'm just going to put all of these like terms together, okay? So if you want, let's do one step in between. So we'll do negative 4y plus 2y plus 5 equals to 7, okay? And again, if you're not sure about putting the like terms together, again, these are integers, okay? Remember your integer rules. We're going to do negative 4 plus 2, which is negative 2y. And I'm keeping the 5 the same, so plus 5 equals 7, okay? Again, if you feel like skipping a couple of steps here, that's okay too. Okay, I'm going to take the 5 to the other side, okay? Notice it's positive on the left side. On the right side, it is going to be negative. So we have negative 2y equals, I'll just put negative 5 here, and it equals to 2 when you subtract it there. And I'm going to divide it by negative 2, okay, on both sides. And remember, I'm not just dividing it by 2 here, I have to divide by negative 2, okay? So it completely cancels out. On the right side, I'm doing 2 divided by negative 2, which is equal to negative 1. And I'm going to box my answer like that. And notice when the x is isolated here, what I'm solving for at the very end is the value for y, okay? Again, we're not done here. I have to find the x coordinate for the point of intersection. I'm going to sub it into equation 1. Okay, theoretically, I can actually sub this value for y into either of the equations. It doesn't really matter. The reason I'm subbing it into equation 1 is because the x is already isolated here, okay? So it's so much easier. So I'm going to write out the equation here. So 4y plus 5, all right? And we're just going to sub in the value for y, which is negative 1. Okay, so it's going to be negative 4 times negative 1, which is positive 4 plus 5, okay? So we're adding that together, Okay, and x is equal to 9. Does everyone see how to do that? Again, sub it into whichever equation you like. However, make sure you're getting this answer, okay? The x has to be equal to 9. And so therefore, we're going to put our therefore sign here, and we're going to put POI, the point of intersection, has to be in brackets, and it's going to be 9 and -1. Okay? So again, if you were to graph these two lines out, okay, I will find that the point of intersection is going to be 9 and -1. Okay? Sometimes the point of intersection, it might have like a decimal. Okay, that's all right too. Okay, the questions your teacher will give you will always be whole numbers. Okay, because for some of the questions, it will be find the point of intersection by graphing. Okay, and at that point, I do have to graph both of the lines to show where the point of intersection is going to be. All right. So that brings this video to an end. Today we covered the method of substitution. It is very important. And again, because they're equations, I can always check my answer and make sure that it is correct at the very end. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, and I will see everyone in the next one. Thanks, bye.